And you said earlier, that something about, there's obviously no guarantees, but it's better to stay on the journey and try to create the right environment. And I'm assuming, maybe this is wrong, but I'm assuming it's not an environment you can create for yourself, right? It has to be created by someone who knows how to, I don't know, as you said, make that particular dish.
Cassie, I stuccoed this house. You know what stucco is. So there is, when you want to put cement on the walls, exterior walls, there is wood, then there is paper, then there is chicken wire. You nail everything, to the boards, and then you mix this concrete called stucco. It has a few things in it, and then you kind of just, put it on this wall, and it sticks. But because my shoulder is the way it is, I can't stucco the shed downstairs. So I was, walking a couple of days ago, and I bring this guy. He was working at this house. I said, "Do you know how to stucco?" He says, "Yes." He says, "Come, take a look at this, shed here, and tell me how much you'll charge to stucco it." He kind of looks at it and says, "I'll charge you $4,000. I said, "Do you know I built this shed? It cost me $2,000. You want to stucco it for $4,000? He says, "Yeah, it's hard work." Because I know that the work is not very difficult, because I know what it takes to work, I can probably do it with my left hand, I'm not going to give some guy $4,000 to stucco the shed. So the burden really is on me, because I understand what it takes, how much it takes, how much energy it takes, time it takes, how many bags of stucco you need to finish the shed. There are a couple of things. I think from 1986 till about 2000 or so, let me do it this other way. The kids don't pay for rent. They don't pay for food, drinks, laundry. They don't pay for gas. They don't pay for toys. They're being served 24 hours a day. They have no relationship to money. They have no relationship to energy, to time. They have no idea what these things are. Everything for them is like a toy that's out there for them to break and destroy and waste. But it's not going to stay this way. There's going to come a time where, hopefully, if I'm still alive, they'll go to school far away. They'll be forced to cook. You can only eat out so much before it sickens you. they still have to vacuum. They have to realize that, well, they're taking 20 units, they have to vacuum, they have to cook, and they have to maintain their relationships so they don't suffer from loneliness and depression. I'm not going to be there to do any of that for them. I can't. And neither is their mom. They have to do it on their own. And it's a tough job. It really is tough to go to school and have a job and maintain your relationships and be able to kind of have fun once in a while and not get, kind of destroyed by all the burdens that you have to carry. When you get to a point where you yourself can create the external forces for yourself as well as the internal, your job is going to be so hard. In some ways very easy, in other ways very, 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 very tough. Because what happens when you're able to create those things for yourself is that you have no need for other people. In fact, other people will no longer be able to inspire you. I mean, sure, once in a while you can listen to a YouTube, you can listen to an audio, and you could be inspired for a day, maybe for an hour, maybe for a week, but eventually it has a very, very, very short, shelf life. Because you know exactly how things work. You know how ideas are generated. You know what moods you need to have. You know what sort of research you need to do. You know how to kind of break open things and see them and express them. It's not that Jordan Peterson, has any magic. He just kind of expresses the same ideas in a different way. That's basically it. Someone like Sadhguru, he does it in a childish way. Muji, childish way. Eckhart Tolle, childish way. Llewellyn Vonley, childish way. But they express it nevertheless, and they have their own followers. Jordan Peterson, he expresses the same ideas, just differently. He's much more clear. And he doesn't use fluff. Do you know how difficult it is for someone like Sadhguru or Jordan Peterson to find anyone out there worth listening to? They have to be the ones generating ideas and emotions. They have to be the creator of external circumstances so they can put themselves in a unique mood to be able to think and to write. And you don't have to, covet. You don't have to kind of pursue that position in life just yet, where you no longer have the capacity to read or write. You don't have the capacity to read because you know what authors do. They sit. Of course, they have some information, some experience. They piece things together, and depending how versed, how articulate they are, they just put them on paper. That's all it is. Someone who's not there, they can go to the library at Berkeley. It's 10-story. Every level of this library is a gem for them. They can stay there for months, if not years, and just read. But someone who's become really, really versed, proficient in the art of thinking and expressing, that library is useless for them. Because they've come to a place where they realize the library lives inside them, they just need to tap in it. So they create certain situations for themselves. For you and I don't know about you, for me, I need someone from the outside. you know. You know, it's an interesting thing. When you read the lives of, say, mystics, whether they come from the Sufi tradition or the Christian or the Jew or the Hindu, doesn't really matter. And not all of them, but some of them just live in caves in solitude. I don't know how any human being can live and survive without seeing another creature. Some of them go even further, that they don't even talk. I mean, if you have all these emotions and these thoughts and experiences inside you, and you want to share them with someone, but no, you just don't desire those things. I don't know what sort of human beings they are, you know. And I don't know how those particular, you know, humans are created and how they're sustained. If you think you're at a place where you need external, you know, influences, well, that's where you are. You know, there'll come a time. It comes a time for all of us. You know, where you just don't need them anymore. And you don't need them because you kind of get exposed and you become saturated, and eventually you get bored and indifferent, and then you just walk away. آب در کوزه و ما تشنه لبان میگردیم، یار در خانه و ما گرد جهان میگردیم. That you have this cup, in it there is water, but you're just running around thirsty and you're holding the cup. It has water in it. Just stop and look at it, you know. Yar dar khane. Your companion is inside your home, and you're running all over the world to find him or her or it. You know, and you know, I can't really say someone like Hafiz or Rumi, if they were always like connected to this miraculous magical force that governs the universe. You know, it may be that they just happen to be in a very like unique mood. You know, they have the cup, they have the water. There is no need for them to run to the faucet or go anywhere asking for water. There is this, like the kingdom of God within, has fully blossomed for them for that particular moment or that day. And they kind of just sit, it's like Sabbath, they are at rest. There is no place for them to go. Such a person doesn't need to go and listen to lectures, doesn't need to go to the classroom, doesn't need to read or write. They can just kind of just sit in the sun and bask in it. You know, and all of us have had those moments. You know, it doesn't matter who you are, what you are, we've always had them. You know, I think just the professional human beings, they have them often. You know, and you will know. You know, you will know when you should just not come to the house anymore. I'm not talking about, you know, being distracted by life. That's a different thing. You know, you will know when your needs have come to an end. Not all of them, but certain of them that basically kind of govern your life. You know, and it's a great place to be. It doesn't mean that you're being disrespectful. It doesn't mean that, you know, you're not being grateful. None of those things. It just means you just don't have those needs anymore. You know, there came a point where you said, Mom, Dad, I love you guys, but listen, I just need to go to Berkeley. You know, they were in Grass Valley, you were in Berkeley. They spent all this time for you, with you. you know. But you're at a different place in life. You just had no need for them, you know. You were on this, you know, physical, emotional, intellectual, spiritual quest, and they couldn't nourish you, so you just left them. That's how it is. And just as you left your parents, you know, it's like retiring from things. You retire from work, you retire from people, you retire from passions, and it's good. You know, even if you kind of pay attention to the movie The Matrix, the first one, what can Morpheus really do? He creates the environment, trains him the best he can, and Neo just needs Morpheus. There comes a point that Neo just understands. You know, he knows that Morpheus, the god of dreams, just lives inside him. He doesn't need the physical Morpheus the way he did before. He kind of can just function on his own. You know, he can create those situations for himself. You know, it also depends on how ambitious you are, Cassie. You know, it's a funny thing. Male students and female students, they're so very, very, very different. You know, all the male students I've had in the past many, many years, there comes a point where they become profoundly jealous of the position I occupy. I'm a nobody. I mean, I haven't really done much with my life. But what little I've done, apparently it becomes a cause of envy for some of my young students. So behind my back, they say some things, you know. And so when they go to the classroom, they want to scream louder than I do and shout louder than I do and act crazier than I do. And it just makes no sense to me, you know, as to why someone would want to be so ambitious to the point of just being ridiculous, you know. That they want to be independent, you know. They want to pretend as if at the age of 30 they have a grasp on this whole thing. Female students are very, very, very different, unless they've been masculinized, you know. You know, one thing I really, really, really liked about Hussein was that he really enjoyed serving than being served, always. And it was such a fascinating thing to witness, that despite being so popular in Northern California, having published a few books, you know, giving talks, that he was really there for people. You know, he would call them, make sure they're okay. You know, that was just kind of who he and what he was. And I think it's better. It kind of protects you, you know, from becoming contaminated. It in many ways keeps you humble, and it reminds you of your past and where you came from. Forgive me, I have forgotten your question. I know you probably say it's not really important, and you're probably right.